reading Starside by Aster. That was such a fun and easy read. It was fast-paced, action-packed, just like the best popcorn guilty pleasure kind of read. The beginning of the book does start with a chaos. The people are fighting to be the 50 chosen by the king to enter into the other side. So the current world is divided into two parts. We have Stormside, where our main characters are from. And there's not a lot of magic left, and the people are kind of living in poverty, while the other side, called Starside, is where the immortals live and where magic thrives. Every 50 years, the gate that divides the two sides will open, and the king will choose 50 people to be able to cross to the other side. The story itself is also kind of divided into two parts. The first parts are the people competing, this sort of like fight to the death scenario to be the 50 chosen to enter into Starside. And the second part is the adventure in Starside, because they have to go on this quest, on this journey to the location where the Cup of Magic is located. My favorite part of the story is definitely the adventure and quest side, just the exploration of Starside and then meeting the immortals and even seeing some really interesting creatures. Unfortunately, the romance is not my favorite part. I mean, the trope is one of my favorite tropes, enemies to lovers, and the type of male lead, he is the dark, brooding type of male lead, which is also my favorite. So the male lead in this story is one of the king's guard. But I guess I don't really like him because sometimes I think he's kind of mean to our female lead. Like, of course, he shows some kindness, but I really like our female lead, so I just want her to be happy and not get hurt. And I'm just rooting for her success. And anytime the male lead is mean to her, I'm just like side-eyeing him. But this book does end on a cliffhanger, so I'm definitely going to be checking out the second book when it comes out next year. And there are two other books that I'm hoping to read in this video. First is Nightweaver by R.M. Gray. I have started this a little bit. It's a pirate YA fantasy. And then the other book is The Midnight Train by Haig. I don't remember what the series is called, but the first book is called The Midnight Library. I really enjoyed the first book, but after finishing it, I did read some reviews and comments, and people's opinions are actually quite contradictory. Reading people's opinions did kind of open my mind to gain a different kind of understanding. So I am curious to see how I'm gonna feel about The Midnight Train. I guess we'll find out. I have now made it to page 136 into Nightweaver. The main character in this story, her name is Aster. Aster and her family are pirates that live their whole lives at sea. And actually it's dangerous to live on land because land is conquered by these beings called the Nightweavers. And these beings actually kind of reminds me of the Shadow Hunters from Cassandra Clare's popular series. Anyways, at the beginning of this book, the Nightweavers attacked Aster and her family's ship. A fight broke out, and during this fight, her older brother was killed, and Aster and her family were captured and brought to land. There is a young man, a Nightweaver, who kind of saves Aster and her family because they could have been sold as slaves, but instead he brings them to his family home and gave them jobs to serve him and his family as maids and servants. Aster's parents and siblings very quickly accept their fate because this new life is better than being a pirate. When they were pirates, they really have to fight for food, but now they have shelter, food, they have jobs, and their future is essentially secured. But Esther, she's lived her whole life as a pirate, so she just wants to be free. And she also wants to find the person responsible for killing her brother and get revenge. Pirate fantasy is not really like my favorite subgenre, but most of this book was actually spent in the mansion, and it's giving like gothic vibes, which I really like, so I'm enjoying this book so far. I do wonder if later on we will go back to sea because Esther has to find the thing responsible for killing her brother. I'm gonna keep reading this today, and I think I also want to start reading The Midnight Train today. And then I'll come back later to give you guys another update. So it is the next day now, and I have finished reading Nightweaver. I will say the story kind of took a turn that I wasn't expecting. Like, it wasn't bad, it's just a direction that I did not anticipate it to go. And again, there wasn't a lot of pirate things going on. It was just Esther kind of proclaiming that I'm a pirate, or like other people kind of saying to her, oh, you're a pirate. But everything is still pretty much happening on land. I do think in book 2, we might get more things happening on ships at sea. And there is a little bit of romance in this book, but I don't think there is like a huge development. The potential male leads, well, I think it's gonna be like maybe a love triangle, and the two potential male leads, they actually are kind of similar to each other. Like they both like smirk a lot or like grin wickedly. This is like my prediction of how the romance is gonna turn out. I think the only reason why she would pick one guy over the other is that one guy will allow her to like be herself, like her true self, and then the other guy would probably just want to protect her, and that kind of stops her from reaching like her full potential. Anyway, that's just my prediction of how the romance is gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna turn out this way. Right now, I'm not in a huge rush to pick up the second book. I think if I'm in the mood for it, then maybe I'll check it out. And I know yesterday I said I was going to start The Midnight Train, but I have not started reading it yet, so I'm gonna start reading this book today. I just woke up and I'm ready to start my weekend of reading, but before I continue the book I'm reading at the moment, I want to give you guys an update of what I've been reading over the past week. So I ended up DNFing The Midnight Train. Unfortunately, that book is not working for me. Like, it felt really different from The Midnight Library, which I really enjoyed reading last time. In The Midnight Train, we're following this man. He had just passed from old age, and what greets him in the afterlife is a guide, and the guide tells him to ride the midnight train. As he rides the train, he would see like his entire life. The train would make certain stops and he would get off and see like significant parts of his life play out in front of him. I think I'm just not interested in this man's life, unfortunately, and it's just like kind of boring to read, so I decided to DNF it. But I did start another book, which I also have from the library, and this is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Brigitte Knightley. And this book really surprised me. I thought I wasn't gonna enjoy it, but so far it's really good. I think it's what I need at the moment. The banter and chemistry between the leads in this book is so good. The plot itself is very simple. It's about this man who is suffering from a rot and he will eventually die unless he's able to find a cure or a way to reverse the rot. However, his only hope is this woman who is absolutely against everything that this man's order is doing. This book reminds me of a lot of things. Firstly, the male lead reminds me of the villain from The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating. And I also really enjoyed that book. The chemistry between the leads in that one was also really good. However, once they got together, I wasn't really interested in the rest of the story, and they got together pretty early in that book. Like, I would say like around halfway through the book. So I kind of DNF after that point. But back to the male lead in this book. So you have this kind of like caricature villain who is actually a bad person who kills people for money. But because it's written in a way that it's so performative, so cliche, it actually becomes so funny to read about. And then the leads just have such good banter. Every time they interact and they're fighting, their conversation is just so funny. The insults that they throw at each other is so creative. And then certain parts of the book also reminds me of like Ellie Hazelwood's STEM romance books, because the order that our female lead is from, they do heal people, but most of like the core of their work is on research and study about the magic in the body, which they call the sieve. But yeah, all the talk about research and just the humor added to it is just reminding me of, Ellie Hazelwood's STEM romance books. I cannot wait to continue reading. We're starting to see now some sexual tension, so I'm really excited to keep reading this book. I have now finished reading The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I don't really have anything new to add on my thoughts. I enjoyed the book. The tension and chemistry between the characters is still really good. It's slow burn romance, which is one of my favorite romance. And actually, besides the female lead having to cure the male lead, there is another plot stewing. And I think we're gonna explore that a little bit more in book 2. I'm waiting for book 2 to come in from the library. It's gonna be a couple of weeks, but that's fine because I need to read some other books as well. I'm not sure what I want to start reading today, but I think I'm gonna end this reading vlog here. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for sticking until the end, and I will see you guys in the next video.